Is New England up next or the Jets? Yeah, New England's up next. They're at 7.5 as well. So this is a team that's won 4 games each of the last 2 years, but this win total is saying, okay, all of the moves, year 2 of Drake Maye, Mike Vrabel coming in, the free agent additions, all the draft picks going to the offensive side of the ball, that's enough to move this over under to the same place Miami is at 7.5 for the Patriots.
Well, this is a fascinating, like, this is how the feels can be totally different. Like 7.5 for Miami feels like a disaster and the whole thing's unraveling and they might be blowing up and forget the Super Bowl window. It's like, can they just keep this show on the road? 7.5 for New England. It's like, everything's going great. Like, we're pointing in the right direction. We're getting better. It's awesome. But
this is,
they're effectively the same thing.
Just to add to that really quick, and I say sometimes we fall into this fallacy of forgetting what the baseline was for a team and only looking at the additions and subtractions. I mean, I think Drake Maye could be fantastic, but Tua, Waddle, and Tyreek Hill, that's still a better pass game foundation than what New England has, right? Even if Maye takes a big step forward, we're talking about Miami has some explosiveness still there, right? And so I know they're moving in different directions, but New England's working hard to get to the point where Miami is offensively.
Yeah, I mean, a big X factor is what Stephon Diggs has this year, coming back off that ACL injury. He's already at that age where you would be concerned about him if he was 100% healthy, coming back off an ACL as well. Like, that could be, I think that's a fairly broad range of outcomes. Like, he could be a really good receiver for them and their best receiver, or he could bring basically nothing to the table if he's done, or if he's not going to be the guy year 1 coming back from that injury. But we saw last year effectively the dangers of getting too excited when all of your eggs are in the basket of young players. Will Campbell theoretically solves left tackle, but does he actually? Like, maybe he is a guard because of the short, stumpy arms and his weird, narrow body. Maybe he's not a solution at all at left tackle. They've done this before. Last year, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, they were supposed to be, really good additions to that receiver core. Jalen Polk had one of the worst rookie seasons of any receiver ever. So it's difficult to know what this is. Like, they've definitely addressed it. They've added a lot of bodies and a lot of potential fixes, but it wouldn't take that much for this team to still have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, one of the worst receiving cores in the NFL. And if that is the case, they will still stink. Like, it doesn't matter what they've done to the defense, to anything else. This will still be a 4 or 5 win team. So it kind of depends what they're going to get out of this rookie class. I think it should be better than a year ago, but I don't know if it's going to be great.
I think the defense is where, not just bringing in Milton Williams, but Carlton Davis there as a 1-2 punch with Christian Gonzalez. Gonzalez heading into year 3. I think they have a chance to make some significant strides. The defense had some issues last year as well, because remember 2 years ago the offense was worse, and they still weren't winning games because the defense was at least keeping them close. I think they get better on both sides of the ball. That's why this number is much higher. But as I've said before, I don't know if you feel the improvement as much this year. Look, I struggle every year to wrap my head around who's the team that won 3, 4, 5 games last year and then goes and wins 10. I did not see Denver doing what they did last year. I admit I'm not great at doing that. Fans are good at doing that, right? Fans do that, but you guys, you're biased fans. You're like, my 3-win team, we're going to win 12 this year. No one believed in us. Yeah, I get it. You're optimistic. I struggle. But of all the teams that could do it, if Drake Maye is that good, could they be a 10-win team? Like, that's in the range of outcomes here for the Patriots.
All right, that's enough of that, Steve. Over 50% of the people listening to this are not subscribed right now. So click that button and then we can get back to whatever it is Steve's telling you about. Yeah, I mean, you just need the flip side of the pessimism that I was talking about before with that young group. If you want to look at that group as an optimistic, high end of the range of outcomes collective this year, then that's how you get, that's how you have the kind of Washington season that we saw last season. Like, if Stephon Diggs actually comes back and is the same player and looks, like he's a perfectly capable high end number 2, low end number 1 for this team. What if Jalen Polk just had a bad rookie year? What if he's actually going to look like the guy he looked like as a prospect, and suddenly he's a really important number 2, number 3 weapon for them with Demario Douglas? Kyle Williams, obviously, we loved as one of the best separators in this draft. If he's able to step in and do that in the NFL immediately, I mean, you can paint a picture where this wide receiver group looks really good. If Will Campbell, if it doesn't matter that he's got T-Rex arms and a weird narrow body and he's just a good left tackle, right? That's a huge upgrade if he's able to do that. If the combination of Cole Strange and Garrett Bradbury are able to play average football, along with Mike Owenu, who's been a good player in the NFL, the great Morgan Moses, you can paint a picture where the offensive line is fine. The Ramondre Stevenson is a good running back. Travion Henderson, they drafted as the best pass blocking back in this draft and as an explosive weapon. Again, it doesn't take that much for you to say, if you want to paint the optimistic picture, this group could immediately become very good around a quarterback that looked phenomenal as a rookie with zero help around him. And I would say they're much better coached collectively now than they were a year ago. It's not that difficult. I think the chances of that happening are not that high, but they're definitely the team that that you can at least construct the argument become that 4-win to 10-win type of team.
One other thing to keep an eye on here. I want to see the Will Campbell run here. So week 1, they play the Raiders. If you want to test his length, you have Tyree Wilson on the other side for the Raiders. And then week 5, if I'm Buffalo, I'm putting Gregory Rousseau over Will Campbell on every single rep. And just, dude, I'm serious. Let's see if it's a factor. Gregory Rousseau often rushes over the right tackle, but that week, why not? Let's see what the rookie, if he can handle Rousseau's length, because Rousseau's also as good as it gets at using his length. That's how he wins. That's going to be a fascinating matchup if Buffalo chooses to exploit it or try to exploit it.
Yeah, James Foster did an interesting article on. He's now working for Arif Hassan and his wide left blog, Substack, whatever we call that thing. And his Gregory Rousseau analysis. So he basically broke down pass rushers by, move and what exactly they do and how they. So Gregory Rousseau was the number 1 pressure player in the NFL last season at
left, right end.
No, pass rushing move that may be problematic for a short, stumpy T-Rex arm.
Stab, long arm.
A long arm.
Yeah, I was
15 pressures last season, led the NFL for the long arm.
Yeah, I was just watching Rousseau specifically a couple of weeks ago, and I'm watching every way he wins, and that's why it clicked. I was like, oh, I want to see this on the other side against Will Campbell just to see. Why not? And Walt, I know that Malcolm Kuntz is on that side. I'm just saying, if you're the Raiders and you want to see if Will Campbell can block and you want to see if Tyree Wilson can actually win, that's one advantage that he actually has, arm length against Will Campbell week 1. Over under 7.5 here for the Patriots.
I'm going to go under. I don't have enough confidence in that young group doing that right out of the gate.
I'm going to go under as well.
Oh, by the way, remember I said before, basically the only strength of schedules that matter are the easiest 3 and the most difficult 3. The Patriots have the second easiest schedule in the NFL. So they have that working for them.
I'll go over then. No, I was leaning like maybe a 7-win season that, they feel like it's more optimistic and on the upswing. And year 2 of Vrabel, year 3 of Drake Maye is when they take a bigger jump forward. I guess we'll say under.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.